Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Sushma Tripathy, joining from Mumbai. And on behalf of STEAM Spectrum, the Awareness Project, I welcome you all on our 127th Talk to the Experts series, which is about self advocacy. To make this session accessible for all, we are joined by Sri Lakshmi, our sign language interpreter, from our accessibility partner ESLI. Our guest, our guest tonight is Ms. Suhasini. She is a psychologist and a mental health counselor with 12 years of experience, specializing in providing support for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. As an autistic adult herself and being a self advocate, she is passionate about spreading the message of awareness, creating a space of acceptance and inclusion for all, from home to work and beyond. Apart from her professional work, she enjoys writing poetry, listening to rock music, meeting new people, and discovering the mysteries of cosmos. Welcome, Suhasini. So good to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. It's a privilege. The first time, so I'm actually nervous excitement, but thank you so much for the welcome.
We'll be all
And
fine.
good evening to everyone.
Yeah, you'll be all fine. And we know that, like we say, April is for advocacy. And today we are going to talk about self advocacy.
Yes,
So,
sorry, just sorry. April is it's actually the month of autism and autism awareness plus acceptance. So we have it, and I really wish it would go beyond just April. For us, entire year should be autism and awareness and acceptance.
rightly
Okay.
said. Yeah, rightly said. So, Suhasini, let us begin from the very beginning. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. I'm Suhasini. Hi, everybody. I like to be called Suha. It's short. It's more. I feel more personally connected. I'm a psychologist. I'm a psychosocial mental health counselor and an autistic adult. I prefer identity first. Um, some more about me. I'm a hopeful romantic. I'm an adventurous person. I love tattoos. I like to meet new people. Um, I also I love all animals, especially cats. I'm an allurophile. I like to research about different kinds of music, but I like more of rock music. I write poems about mental health, and that stems from my lived experiences. And I basically, I just like to be around. I just like to be present in wherever I am. Yeah.
Lovely. That's such a brief, sweet and simple introduction. But I know there is so much more in you, Suhasini, and you inspire a lot of young adult out there. Uh, we are here to talk about self advocacy, right? And I would like you to share about your journey with autism diagnosis and how it shaped your perspective, your thinking on self advocacy, and how you felt that it is important to talk about it.
Sure, sure. So I, so this entire journey of autism has been there within me. I never knew about it. But I have experienced, I've observed in my childhood that I felt different, and not bad different, but good different. And this has been observed by my parents too, especially my mother. My mother she tells me ki, very different, you very think differently, etc. I never really understood what she meant at that time, but I I saw I there were some behaviors that were that many people find amusing. Like I remember certain details, intricate details of people, of events, the date, time, not times, also sometimes the year, uh, which date was. So I remember all these things, and not just that, I also there was some peculiarity about some things that I did, which some others didn't understand. But I found that very. I mean, I observed that, but I didn't really uh, give too much importance to it. But like I remember in my childhood, I used to sit under the table. That was my safe space, and I used to sit over there and draw things or write things, whatever scribbling I did. I used to do there, sit under the table. That was my space. And I remember. So this was now that I read about it, it's called stimming. So I used to go round, round, round. I used to go round and round and round and I listen to music because I love doing that. And then when I go around and I look down and I see the floor, so I was in, like, I'm from Mumbai. I didn't say that. So I used to live in an apartment where the tiles were very, which had those small thingies on the floor. So I enjoyed watching that going up and down after going round and round. I used to walk differently because I used to skip one stone. I used to walk on the side. All these things. I thought it was very. I felt nice doing that, but others found it very different. Or used to think that they felt very clearly. Why is she so strange kind of thing? The strange kind of behavior. And even through college I was in a girls college. I was an SNDT church. uh, there I was more, I felt more free because school was okay. College was where I actually opened up thoda, little. uh, but even there I felt, I could connect with one or two. I was friends. I had friends but not many. So I used to love sitting in the library and just read things or notice things every small. Then when I started working, uh, and very recently in 2021, when I started narrative practice, there was this module on autism and some talk on autism, autistic traits, characteristics, etc. And I connected with all of them. I was like, this is so me. Like, I wanted to know more about it because I wanted some answers. Because it was the whatever they spoke was so real for me, and I wanted to know more about it. So I asked them, how can I find out about my if I have autism? Are there any online tests which are uh, validate like proper online tests? So they sent me a few, and I scored high in all. Although, like in school, I never scored high as much as I scored in these tests, and I was extremely happy. So that was my first step towards discovering my autism. And as incidentally, I was working in an organization that worked for providing support and employment for differently abled adults. So there also I found a lot of help. So one of there was a ex-colleague over there who was autistic himself, and he guided me to Action for Autism, and I immediately called them, fixed an appointment for assessment, and they spoke to my parents, and I spoke to one of my ex-former colleagues over there. And yeah, and on 8th August 2022 in the morning, I got a call saying, Suhasini, we got the results, so you have autism. I'm like, oh my God, I was so happy. I was elated. I was extremely happy. Okay, finally, I got an answer for whatever was going on. I was trying to figure things out, and I knew the answer. I got the answer, and that's how my journey began. And so so interestingly, even though I got my diagnosis, and I was very happy, oh my God, I got my diagnosis, I got I'm autistic. To actually understand that part within me, to accept that in my body, in my entire being, was a journey in itself, because I know ki I have autism, but then to actually get that essence in me, okay, whatever behaviors you have done earlier, there was a reason for it. It wasn't just because you were like this, or you have some deficits or something. There was a reason for it. So to accept that part was very empowering for me. And and I started reading more about autism, because see, for me it was, if I have just read a little about autism in my, I've done clinical psychology in my master's. So there's just a small snippet on what is autism in a very clinical narration. But to actually know more about autism through Autistic was where I started learning more about it, and I got connected to a lot of fellow neurodivergent autistics. And yeah, that's how when I started learning more about it, and how it is an uh invisible disability, and that not it's not very visible, like people can't see autism just like any physical disability. um and the challenges that it comes with, I decided to uh, talk more about it, write about it. So in my poems, I write about I wrote about my autistic journey, about my life experiences, and yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
so.
that's shaping me up right as I'm talking to you. I'm actually remembering a lot of things. So yeah, it is a never-ending journey.
Yeah, it's a journey of self-discovery, every now and then,
Absolutely,
uh,
absolutely.
at every step, like we said. Uh, it's very, like you said, you felt empowered the moment you discovered that something which had been there in your mind all your childhood, you finally got the match for it. And you were, that happiness was more about realizing that, yes, I was thinking something on the same line and I got my answer on the same line. But after that, the whole journey of understanding yourself, being an autistic young adult, is altogether a different experience for you. And I think that is how being a self advocate helps for yourself also, and maybe to others also who are listening, who are interacting with you, because when you are sharing your journey, you know that from where it is coming and what made you share what you are sharing, like you mentioned right now, right? So yeah, kudos to you, Suhasini, for doing it, amazingly. I would also like to know something from you, that it took a while for you to find out that you are on spectrum, and until and unless you went to the diagnosis. But once it was done, what were the strategies or maybe the resources which helped you, in advocating about your journey, in advocating about autism and the whole spectrum, and maybe navigating the challenges that come.
Mhm. Yeah. So I would So the strategies, when I found out about my autism, and there were since I was myself trying to understand the whole thing, right? The whole aspect of the autism in me. So, to be very honest, I actually didn't have any resources. I found out, I started reading up. So a lot of reading happened at that time. I started talking to people about other autistics. Where can I find more? I went online. Where can I find more material? I went online. I started following pages on autism on Instagram, um, just to read what they are writing and to read materials proper website from proper websites on what is autism, and not the clinical aspect, like the lived experience. And very sadly, there aren't many websites or any material that actually talks about it. So, thanks to some support groups in Mumbai, I got connected with some of them, and I had the opportunity to talk about uh, my autistic journey and how it is, what it is, and so that helps. So talking to people, finding resources, reading up online, finding books about it helps. So not just a clinical aspect, but talking to people help in knowing the lived experiences aspect. What strategies you say? I think music is, as I said, it has helped me a lot. And I'll tell you why. Because as everyone, and I mean those who know, autism is a spectrum. I mean, if you meet one person with autism, you only met one person with autism, as said by Dr. Stephen Shore. So for me, uh, for me, um, music has helped a lot in the one. It was one of the key strategies for me, and it has helped through all years of whatever challenges I have faced. So even when I was working or wherever I went, I had earphones on. I had my earphones. I used to listen to music all the time. As much as I know I had to remove it for in certain spaces, but music helped a lot because it helped me to calm down. It helped me to be present. The kind of music also helps, of course. So not always calming music, but something that I love, and that helped me to be wherever I was, to be present. So that was one strategy that I found out. Music was one strategy. Uh, masking, autistic masking. It is not. I won't. It's not a. It's not strategy, but it is not I won't say it's a healthy strategy, but it helps somewhere to to uh to to communicate, to be among people. Masking helps sometimes to be uh like how I'm talking to you right now. Masking is basically to help you navigate through any space. So, to give the appropriate answers, appropriate behaviors. Although it's very draining, masking somewhere has helped me because it has helped a lot in communicating. Reading about autism, as I said, connecting with autistic adults, journaling. Journaling and writing poems about my lived experiences has helped a lot. This is one of my own strategies where journaling, there was a time I kept writing, I kept my entire diary got filled because I kept writing about things. Because before my autistic diagnosis, so writing somewhere has always helped me. After diagnosis, I started writing more, and I started writing poems. So that it gave me a segue to write those words in a way which which wasn't which was in a um like poetry form, and which also gave structure to what I was doing. So that was one. And also taking care of myself. Self-care also helped a lot, a lot. In fact, I would recommend self-care is should be one of the most first strategy. Take time out for yourself. If you're feeling you're not in a good space, take some time out and sit wherever you feel comfortable. In any room you feel comfortable. That was very important for me. And diving deep in my special interest. So special interest is one specific. So I like to read about cosmos, as you already told. Cosmos, constellations, anthropology is also another interest, very avid interest for me, where I like to read about Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, uh, how the Earth was, what kind of people there was, Pangea, Gondola, all those things. So I got into that. So that gave me a lot of that helped me navigating wherever that space, that moment. And also Carl Sagan, I forgot Carl Sagan's Blue Dot quote, and also his talk. I listen to his talks. I read up his whatever he. I read up material online about him. So all these strategies, all these materials has helped me to navigate my journey after my diagnosis. So um, and see, this is my journey. I'm sure there are other autistics and other people who will find their own way of navigating through this process. So whatever helps them, but helps them good in the in the end result should be fine. Is what I would say.
This, everybody has their own comfort level, or some like journaling, like you said, music, it's like a therapy. For some it is art. So yes, to each their own, but yes, at least find something which helps you to strategize other things that is coming in in your life. So we have a message from one of our viewers, Nina. She says, very true, self-care is very important. And yes, it's so good to hear that while you're advocating about how your journey has been, self-care you have highlighted, and that is, we all agree to it, it is important. So Hasni would like to
Can
know.
I? Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hmm.
I'm really sorry to interrupt. I think self care also is because there is autistic burnout is very real. Autistic burnout, it shows up in different ways for autistics, but autistic burnout you actually shut down.
Yeah.
Your entire journey gets drained out, and you have no energy to do anything, even to have conversations. Very difficult when you have an autistic burnout, and it is not just any burnout. Or burnouts are there, but then autistic burnout has a different added element, because we think we feel everything extra.
Yeah.
And that extra, although it is helpful sometimes, it is also very draining. So yes, self-care is extremely important. To take time out is very important. So, yeah, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, self-care is important. And like you mentioned earlier, you had the support of your parents, and I would like you to talk about it. uh, how did that support from your parents, friends, from your significant people and your surrounding atmosphere, how did that help you in your journey?
Sure. I would like to be very genuine over here. Um, okay, so my parents have been, and I touch wood, thank heaven. I'm really grateful for my very supportive parents, my father, mother, sister, uh, my grandfather. Like, I just, I just love my family. I get very emotional when I talk about them. But I'm really grateful that I have them in my life, because in the end, they are the ones who are going to support you throughout. And see, when I got my diagnosis, and I'm being very honest over here, they had no idea. My parents, they accepted it, but they had no clue what is autism. So I started posting what is like the entire notes on autism, what is autism, in simple words for them to understand. And I think that gave them a lot of context. So they have been extremely supportive before, and they're extremely supportive now also. Plus, even my sister, like she's a neurotypical, but she's my sister, so I feel a lot of comfort with her. She's like she's my go-to person. Um, I know if she's, even if I don't talk to her much sometimes, if she's there, I feel a lot of comfort. Um, so yeah, they have been extremely supportive. Touch wood, touch wood. Friends, see, I wrote this. I've written this quote over here. So my friendship aspect has been a bit dicey. So a bit background about that. I've never had friends in my childhood, in my school, college. There were groups. I mean, thankfully, I had some good friends when I started college. That's when I actually found out, group of friends, etc. Otherwise, I had never had a proper friend in school except one friend who was extremely supportive. I was always within myself. I was quiet. Never used to mingle with anyone. So yeah, the quote I forgot. A friend to all and a friend to none. So I was friendly with everyone, and that came. I mean, that aspect developed as I went to college, and when I started. So when I was in this profession, I started because I had to talk to people. I developed this part of me, because others I was very quiet. And now when I'm talking like this, it is actually a very stark contrast. So yeah, a friend to all and a friend to none. So my friendships have never sustained. It is there for a while. They're very good friendships, but then they disappear. And I used to feel bad about it. I used to self-blame myself. Is there something wrong with me? Am I too much? Do I talk too much? Do I overshare? Do I make them uncomfortable? And all these things come to me. But then, as I started reading and I started also going into an inner journey, I reached the stage where I was okay without any friends. I was okay. See, it is very difficult. I'm not saying it's going to be a very good or happy journey. It is very difficult. It is really difficult. But then I, as a person, I cried, I wrote, I used to do a lot of venting out. But then, you know, miraculously, I used to find certain people who used to help me in my journey, and I was happy with that. So even though I never had sustained, my friendships never sustained, I used to find people who used to help me out. And currently, thanks to my neurodivergent community, I have two very, very good friends who are extremely supportive, and I feel so happy just thinking about them, because they have been there for like, not like we just started out as the friendship started a few months back, but I am so grateful for their presence, and I am really honored, so happy to have them in my life. And also I have some very good neurotypical friends who are extremely understanding. Uh, so as I said, I find people who help me out. So even if I'm okay with my speech, with being myself, but from somewhere these people just come about, and then I'm currently talking about philosophy to one friend who was interested about Carl Sagan and other psychoanalysis, Freud, etc. So see, I find people like that. I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, in short, friends, they are supportive in their own way. But these two individuals are extremely, extremely supportive, and I'm extremely happy about that. And of course, the neurodivergent community. Um, I'm grateful that they exist.
And it's, lovely to hear. Like you said, your parents were your support before and even now, and you have found those chosen people in your life, and that is so, lovely to hear about it. We have one more message from Nina. She says, "You're truly inspiring. It takes a lot of courage to talk about one's journey through these phases. You're, pat yourself for coming forward and sharing your journey with us." So yes, kudos to you, Suhasini, for doing it so brilliantly. Suhasini, my next question to you is from the professional angle. You have been working closely with kids and young adults. So I want you to share your thoughts why it is important for families or people sometimes step back and let the young adult, because if we just talk about young adult, let the young adult explore life on their terms.
Okay, yeah, that's a very significant question, and it is a very tricky question. I have okay in my professional in my professional experience till now, uh, interacting with parents has been very significantly more in the last 2.5. Uh, the last organization where I worked was an organization that worked with a different ages. Earlier, I was working in a school, and over there, the interaction with parents was there, but not much. So this question is so important, and it's a very I know okay. I have to okay. I'll be very honest, but I also can understand from where this question from where I can that this question is coming. Okay, why it's important. See, first and foremost, parents are a child's first go-to person. The parents know their child. The parents know what the child is doing, what are their interests, etc., etc. They have been there with that child their entire life. I completely get. And as the child grows up, they try and they give everything for the child. And if the child is differently able, uh, they'll be maybe a bit more extra, maybe. So since birth, since until the child is growing, the parents are there. They have been there, and they're the providers actually, which is true, and because it is a fact. Now, as the child is growing, the child is also growing up. The child is developing an identity. Even if it's a differently abled adult, the child that 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 child is growing, is also developing a lot of cognitive sensibilities, a lot of communication in their own way. I'm talking about differently abled adults, not the neurotypical adults, children. A differently abled child, although as parents, I understand they have that fear. Oh my God, this child is different. How is that child going to survive? I get that fear. I actually get it because I have seen it. I have experienced that in my workplace where they think the child their child will not know what to do, which is fair enough. But then I really urge parents to understand that a child also have their thinking pattern. They're also figuring things out. Maybe they may not say it vocally, but they have their own thinking pattern. They are trying to figure things out. And the best that they can as parents can do is help them through that journey without, you know, see, I know they want to provide the best. I get it. But then it is also important for them to understand that their child, that differently able child, as the child grows up, is going to lead his or her own life independently. So it is important that they realize that and they start training, maybe giving them doing, how do I say it? Taking small steps towards that journey. So, for example, what do they want to eat? What do they want to wear? Let them decide. Let that child decide. Those are small things, and let's start with that. I know, it is not easy, but then we have to make a start, right? Um, so and also focus on their strength. It is so important to focus on their strength. The child may not do everything that a neurotypical child is doing, and it is okay because your child is different. It's very important to accept that and then focus on their strengths. And because strength, I try go by the strength based aspect. Work on the child's strength and let them explore that, and then work together on discovering more strength of that child and help them to become more independent by taking small decisions, and also taking permission from that child, because your as a child is growing up, the child should know what is happening, and also facing consequences of their action is also extremely important. Sorry, I'm just making one more point. I have seen parents fearing what will how the child survive. It's a bad world out there. It is true. What the parents are facing is true. Because I know. I mean, the world outside is not that great currently. However, it is also important to equip the child as they grow on educating them on how the world is. It is not all bad. There are some good. So exposing them to both is extremely important, and letting them face the consequences of whatever they take is also very important. It can be good or bad. So then the child will know, okay, oh, I shouldn't do this. Oh, I can do this to get more positive reinforcement. And big decisions, of course, it is always a collective. I'm not going to comment on that because it is each family, it is their business. But then these are some points that I have seen, and I have seen this in my work, in the space that I have had work. So, and I completely understand. Uh, I mean, I really, my heart goes out to the parents because they are so doing their best, and I'm being very honest. It is a very honest statement. They're doing their best. They want the best for their child, and I really appreciate that. However, in also doing the wanting the best can also look different for each person. So yeah, of course. But in the end, the child should be happy. It should help the child. That's all I would like to say. Yeah.
So start small, and like you said, small goals, small achievements, small responsibility.
Absolutely.
Like on a daily basis thing. I think that is a better way to work upon. And that brings me to our final question for you, Suhasini, because here we are talking about self advocacy, and there are a lot of young adults with autism who are watching this, who might watch it later, who might come across it later. What is your advice for them who might be struggling to maybe assert their needs or advocate for themselves?
Uh, I it's a very see I on behalf of the entire community, of, as I said, each person is going through their own journey. However, so I'm just summing it up in one quote and then I'll add some more. So there's this quote within there is each person going through a different storm, going through a different boat or something like that, and you have to be kind. I changed it to something that made sense for me. Within this storm, we are going through our own different storm in different boats because each person's experience is different. So the only advice I would give, or such, the only advice I can give to our and other fellow autistics is to be as genuine as possible, as true to yourself as possible. Never be ashamed of your diagnosis. Never be ashamed. Not, I won't say ashamed. Never. I know there are people who are not comfortable disclosing their identity of autism. That's okay. That's absolutely fine. But then those who, but then it is also important to voice out your needs. So voicing out is extremely important. Accepting, first of all, accepting that identity within yourself is important. Uh, yes, it is a difficult world out there. It is not going to be easy because most of them are difficult, but then it's also important to educate them, so making them aware, uh, making them aware of what is autism. Not, I mean, I know it is a very tiring journey, but then for that to achieve that goal, it has to be, we have to make a start somewhere. So for the young adults, I would say, um, each day is a new day, and each experience is a add something to your being, and that experience makes you who you are, and always reach out for help if you need help, and never feel alone. We all are there for each other, and yeah, i mean I think as I said, I mean, this is something that, because I have been through this, I'm saying this, uh, never feel alone. That I you're not, I mean, no one is alone. You're not alone, is what I would say. You are my autistic people out there. You're never
Beautiful.
alone.
Never feel alone, and reach out to people. I think these are there's such few very strong messages, I would say, and advices as well. Don't feel alone, and it is applied for everybody. We all have our own journeys, but don't feel alone. Whenever you feel that, reach out for help. Accept what you are right now rather than staying in the state of denial. I think that is how you should take life ahead, and you would see that you have enough room for yourself. And there are a lot of people who are just welcoming and supporting, standing there to be with you. And on that note, I'll take.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to add. Each person, each autistic expression is different. So, in whatever way you can express. Because if you want to be heard in whatever way you can, just
Yeah.
do that. I mean, you can always do that, and
Yeah.
whenever you're comfortable doing it. So yeah, I want to add that.
It's a very valid point, Suhasini, because all this while through our series and sessions, we have been talking about it also, that communication is not always the same old way. There are so many ways people are communicating, and you choose what is apt for you, and there are people to listen to you and listen to your thoughts. So yeah, on that note, I'll like to thank Sri Lakshmi for being such an amazing support, and Suhasini, a big hug and kudos to you for coming out and talking about your journey, about your experiences, and how have you been navigating your life throughout till now, and in future as well. So thank you so much, both of you, to make this a session so insightful and learning for all the parents and the young adults watching us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I just add that I'm feeling actually very proud that there's an interpreter over here. I have never experienced this, so I'm actually very happy to know that. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Shivali, Dr. Shivali, and thank you so much, Sushma and Sri Lakshmi. I'm feeling very more honored right now to be in this space, to share the space with you.
So yes, signing off. Stay
Thank
tuned.
you. Thank you so much.
Yes, please stay tuned for more sessions on the upcoming Talk to Expert series, and see you. Good night. Bye bye.
Bye.